Phil, when people think about culverts, they probably automatically think concrete, but you guys have changed all that.
Yes, absolutely. We have two types of culvert, both PVC, you can see behind me, and polyethylene. And of course the benefit is actually we're coming into winter, we've had a whole lot of rainfall. I'm sure those gateways are getting very, very sticky and pretty awful. It's a matter of carrying that water away across the gateway somewhere else.
What's the difference between the two products?
Essentially PVC, you need to be more careful about how you bed PVC, in that it's taking borrowed strength from the material around it. So it's important that it's well bedded and compacted as you actually go up and around the pipe, so that actually when you put downward force at the top, the pipe is actually restrained from forming an oval by the soil compaction around it. So it's important about how you actually install that product. And polyethylene itself is actually very robust. You get a polyethylene culvert, very strong. I mean, it's a little bit like the tank material that we make. They're very tough, so even if it overlises, it'll actually come back out, usually. They're just tougher, really.
So they'll obviously take the weight of a tractor or a decent sized truck.
Yeah, absolutely. But the key is actually the burial depth and how far down you actually get that to get the right outcome. So we would, if we knew the load was going to be greater, bury the culvert further and actually provide much better grounding and bedding around it. It's simply about removing the force directly applied to the top of the culvert.
So where are you using them? Because we don't actually have many water races left.
No, that's right, absolutely. You know, a whole lot of those water races have been replaced, many of them now being piped, and I guess that's the future. You take a piped water race system, it has a whole lot less loss than would have occurred in the past. So we're actually using water a lot more efficiently. And we've provided polyethylene pressure pipe into those systems as well.
There's a big market for these.
Absolutely. I mean, many farm properties actually have small tributaries and waterways going through them. And often you actually want to run farm tracks over them. How do you actually still discharge that tributary or waterway? Well, the answer is you actually put on a culvert to carry that water. So PVC, we produce it up to 500mm OD, so it's quite a hefty hydraulic capability to carry that water from one side to the other.
Springs and I guess rain coming down off the side of a hill is what you're looking at.
Absolutely. You think about the amount of land that is in that situation in New Zealand, it's quite colossal. But it's important to actually size it correctly and to actually have a small amount of fall on the culvert as it goes through. You
have to calculate the rainfall and of course flooding?
Absolutely. You've got to determine how much water you actually have to carry through that culvert, and then what happens if you actually get a 1 in 100 year flood or something like that. Where's that water going to go? So the abutments to the culvert have to be reasonably carefully made such that it doesn't wash it all away, which would be a disaster, of course.
So there's a bigger need for these really than you would think?
Absolutely. I mean, what works this year might not work next year, might not work the following year, depending on flows. I mean, you know, how many times have we seen the Rakaia, for instance, and flood where it's bank to bank, and it does happen.